So while patiently awaiting Syndra, another champion that's been leaked for the billionth time, I decided to work on my Ryze video. Now everything was perfect. I was doing the visuals and adding the music, and as I almost got to the end of the project, my Adobe crashed. Now, by now you'd be like, hey Dinka, you've been doing this for quite a while, you should probably know that these programs are not very stable and you should probably manually save every 3 minutes, but I didn't do it. And so before I go back to doing everything from scratch, or simply hanging myself, I think it's a great time to finally get to know me. So here are your top 50 questions. So a while back, I made a post on YouTube asking you guys to give me questions for the Q&A video that I wanted to make. And you guys did not disappoint. I got hundreds of questions, and luckily I managed to somehow narrow it down to like a 50. It's not a lot of narrowing down, but trust me, it is. So the first question comes from 𝗬𝗪𝗻𝗀, and he's got 3 questions. So first question is, what did you study and why? Everything that I do nowadays is stuff that I've just practiced for years. I believe that if you're passionate enough about something, you'll find a way to learn it, whether it's by teaching yourself, practicing, or taking courses. What is your favorite character design in League? I think the best character designs would be Camille, Kindred, 𝗬𝗪𝗍, Fiddlesticks, Senna, and Sylas. I just think they have really cool animation and mechanics. How are you? Life's been good? Work-wise, I'd say yeah. Health-wise, not so much, but it'll get better. 𝗬𝘁𝗽𝗪 asks, what character would I bring to League, like Yone and or other characters from the lore? 𝗬𝗀. 𝗬𝗀 from the Dreaming Pool story. Period. I've said it before, but I'm not kidding when I say that he has literally better lore than 90% of League of Legends character combined. Anthony himself really likes his character, and after chatting a bit on Twitter, I think it's safe to say that he might actually save him from the terrible fate he brought upon him. If you could make 5 skins, what universe would you put them in? Darkstar, Star Guardian, Pulsefire, etc. Okay, so hear me out. Eclipse Diana, Demonic Swain, Crime City Darius, Pool Party Anyone I Can Simp, and maybe like a Road Warrior Sylas? Like, I don't know. Maybe even Set. Here, as long as I see them in leather pants, I'm good. Cinnamon Fox asks, how did you get into firearms? So ever since I remember myself, I always wanted to deal with weapons. I was going to shooting ranges at a daily basis, and one of my biggest dreams was to like actually join the IWI. So I thought that a good start would be actually dealing with weapons in the military. But after I was done with the military, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. By the end of the day, you don't really know where your weapons might end up in, and I don't want to contribute to any micro wars around the world. What are my top 3 manga and manhwa series? I can't really drop 3, so I'm just gonna give you a couple that I really like. Air Gear, Sunken Rock, Berserk, Vagabond, Tenju Tenge, Tokyo Ghoul, Uzumaki, Vinland, Inuyashiki, One Punch, etc. Keep in mind that a lot of these series are very plot heavy, gruesome, and violent. So if you'd like to see more of the wholesome series I enjoy, I can give you some of them. But most of the stuff I read is this and or doujins and yaoi, because I am what they call an intellectual degenerate. What kind of coffee do you drink? I'm a huge coffee fan, so like I can literally drink anything from Turkish coffee to cappuccinos. Like it all depends on what I'm in the mood for. But I think that my all-time favorite coffee experience was with Bedouin coffee. They add cardamom to it, so it gives it this nice sweet taste. Phil Collins asks, have I ever regretted the fact that I haven't been born as a man? Not really. I've always identified as a female. I mean, we do have a lot more testosterone in our family. Like my grandma, she literally shaves, like she has like a mini beard. But I've never felt like I like I should be a man. Yeah, I do like dressing up like a dude because I think it's really, really fun. Like drag kinging is like super fun. But other than that, no, I'm very content and happy with how I came out to be. How does my family feel about my kind of dark sense of humor? I was brought up with that type of sense of humor in my family. We were always very transparent with one another, so I felt comfortable talking to them about everything, whether it was like sex, drugs, alcohol, or anything like that. So sarcasm and dark humor were kind of taught to me as like second and third languages. Seriously, if you think my dark humor is bad, you should see the rest of my family. Like my grandma kept making sex jokes at my grandpa's funeral. We're bad. We're really bad. How many languages you know and practice? So I speak Russian, Hebrew, English, and Ukrainian. I mainly learned Japanese from music, anime, and TV series, but I also took the time to actually sit down and learn how to read and write in katakana and hiragana. I have no idea how to deal with kanji though, so don't expect me to know anything about that. And then there's Swedish, but I had to put it on hold because I'm way too busy right now. 𝗬𝗏𝘠 asks, what champion or champions really need their storyline rework in your opinion? There's too many, but I'd say for now, 𝗏𝘂𝗽𝗏. Like he needs it. He needs it so bad. I feel so bad for him. Emilia asks, become a character in the world of League of Legends or bring someone of that world to ours. So I'm afraid that majority of the League of Legends champion are very unstable, so I would probably not want to bring any of them into our world. But me and a friend of mine are actually working on this side project where we're creating me as a League of Legends character. We will show you all the stuff about that in the future, but for now, stay tuned. 𝗬𝘂𝗽𝗃 asks, who do you think is the best swordsman on League? Has to be. He is as OP in the story as he is in the game. Demogorgon asks, when did I start playing League of Legends and become a LoL analyst, and why? So I got into League of Legends because Johnny thought it would be a really great game for us to play as a couple, you know, like a girlfriend and a boyfriend playing together in League. But he kind of forgot the part about the fact that we are both extremely competitive and have severe Middle Eastern anger issues. So, I mean, it lasted for maybe 2 months until he just deleted me from his friend list, deleted the game, and moved on to PUBG. I got into analyzing about 2 months ago because Corona happened and I was severely bored. I also wanted to find like-minded people who I could discuss the lore with without them being severely condescending like they are usually on Reddit. So 2 months later, here I am. 𝗬𝗏𝘠𝗪𝙀𝐿. Do you like Syndra and Camille as champions? Their stories are fantastic and they are my two most played champions. I honestly haven't seen Camille or Syndra lately. Their lanes are usually dominated by the same meta champs that you would see like in every single game. But yes, I adore them. So Zoe asks, you're stranded on a desert island. You can bring one League champ with you. Who and why? I'd bring Darius just so I could have that 365 boat moment and I'll just die happy. No, but seriously, like I would probably choose someone like 𝗏𝗏 to try and get out of there, but like I don't know if 𝗏𝗏 has the strength to do that. So I'll just stick to Darius. Captain Jazza asks, I remember a line in a demon tree that was labeled Frenzy, and when I watched your video on the Ionen path, I couldn't help but make some comparisons to the evil side of Yone and a demon in full frenzy. Do you think that perhaps Yone's dark side is actually a demon of frenzy? Yone technically like took over the demon, so like there's pretty much no demon, it's just Yone at this point. So, yeah. Sohail Nazari asks, is there a chance that Demacia will change a bit? I believe they have a chance if Jarvan decides to take shit back to his own hands. Because currently, the people who are in power in Demacia are the big families. Those same families that are funding the mage seekers and forcing mages into the cellars where they poison them. Of course, now that it's not the case because like 𝗨𝗧 started the revolution and a lot of the mages escaped. But a lot of them are also just, you know, people who want to live at peace. Some of them are just children who don't know what to do and are just like fearing for their life. The people, like the low class of 𝗬𝘂𝗫𝗫 is actually very not happy with how 𝗬𝘂𝗫𝗫 has been handling things and are actually fighting back. But I'm pretty sure that once like Jarvan will take care of his own shit and like figure out what to do with the mage seekers, the higher up families, and all the fucking shit show that was going on so far, 𝗬𝘂𝗫𝗫 will change for the better. Also, is there a relationship between Garen and Katarina? Their voice lines in Legends of Runeterra seem spicy. Yes, it's canon. The useless Ducatu and the Demacian guarding pup are a couple. Camille asks, have you ever did voice acting? Your voice might fit some characters perfectly. I think anyone who watched anime as long as I did would be able to like figure out the certain voice tropes to specific characters.
こんにちは皆さん。私は딩크です。よろしくお願いします。
Jamin asks, will you do a lore power scaling for LoL Runeterra in the future? Ugh, that's like 150 champs, dude. Maybe we can do a stream about that. 𝗬𝗪𝗻𝘂𝗫𝗍 asks, when did you start modeling? And also, will you be my friend? I'm too lonely. So I started modeling about 6 years ago, right after I was done with the military. And if you want to find some friends, you're more than welcome to join our Discord server. �奧𝘬𝗪𝐻𝑎𝑡𝑟 asks, LeBlanc cosplay, when? Buying materials in Israel is way too goddamn expensive, so I don't see it happening unless I start a GoFundMe. Private Martin asks, what champion are you planning to vote for? Choose a VGU. I want Nocturne because his lore looks pretty bland and he has such potential, like fiddlesticks. And second, it's 𝗬𝘬𝘪 because 2009 model I can't stand. So definitely Nocturne. Homeboy looks like an angry stabby cloud, when in reality he's supposed to look like fucking Freddy Krueger. Lockhart asks, in the League of Legends universe, which champions have your favorite relationship dynamic? Ugh, I've got too many. We've got Kayn and 𝗏𝗏𝗏, Shen and Zed, Jinx and Ziggs, Swain and Darius, Graves and Twisted Fate, 𝗬𝘬𝘪 and Lee Sin, Yasuo and Riven. Like, there's just way too many for me to count. 𝗵𝗵𝘃𝗫𝗏 asks, basic question that I think would probably get along, how did you get into LoL lore? Like, which bit of lore info drove you to say, I'm gonna get a PhD in this? So the day that I joined League of Legends was the same day that Yorick got his rework, and I remember joining and see this like really epic login screen with the music playing in the background, and I thought he was the most badass thing I've ever seen in my life. So I just started reading about him, and when I finished reading about him, I wanted to know what's going on in the Shadow Isles to begin with. So I got into the Shadow Isles and then learned about the Blessed Isles and learned about all the characters from there. Through Elise, I got into Noxus and started learning about Noxus. From Noxus, got myself into Shurima, from Shurima to Targon. Targon kind of moved me into 𝗬𝘂𝗫𝗫, and 𝗬𝘂𝘫𝘫 moved me to Freljord. Basically, like, no matter where you start, it will send you automatically into another region. So I just ended up sitting and reading everything because that was my way to distress, like I've mentioned before, because every time I would lose a ranked game, I would just like say, fuck it, fuck this game, I'm gonna read the lore. And here we are today. Who is your least favorite non-Demacian and how would you rework them? I think Xerath, because I think he's a fucking asshole for what he did to poor Azir. I honestly don't care whether or not they're gonna rework him because he's that irrelevant to me. Not gonna lie, he is pretty fun to play though. Lastly, besides modeling, LoL lore, simping, Twitch, and YouTube, what would we find Dinka doing? So I'm also a freelance actor, copywriter, social media manager, and video editor. I also practice cartomancy, which for those of you who don't know is basically fortune telling with cards. But I usually don't really talk about it as much because I feel like it's more of a personal thing, and I usually do openings only for those who I feel that are really in need. Vicente Rodriguez asks, if Riot continues to do Origin-themed series, like Arcane for Vi and Jinx, which champion story would you like to see as an animated series? Most definitely Noxus and Ionia. Like, I really want to see what's going on with the 𝗨𝗏𝗃 behind closed doors. Like, what are they talking about? The military discussions, like, you know, the intrigues. And with Ionia, I want to know what's up with the necromancy over there, because like after the last couple of stories that we've gotten there with the creepy fucking thingies coming out of the ground and stuff and the last sisterhood story, like bruh, Ionia is not all about like fucking peace, love, and juju magic. Like this is some dark ass fucking shit. Also like the fact that the demons, like the Azakana, are actually from there. Like, give me an entire series on that. Thank you. Ayob asks, so you like anime manga, right? What are the best titles that you read, watched so far, and what do you recommend? So I already pointed out my favorite mangas, but anime-wise, I'd say that these would be my top 10 that I would probably recommend. I'll just leave a link to my anime list down below, so go check it out. Joaquin Gonzalez asks, do you see it necessary to update most champions' interaction in order to make them dialogue instead of newer champions telling something to the older ones? So it's impossible to be updating 150 champions every single time a new champion comes out. So I'm completely okay with the vague interactions they have with one another. Mo the Lawn asks, how long have you been in the IDF for? What's your role? I did 2 years and served as an 07 weapon inspector. I was the overachiever of the TOP artillery school and became a certified examiner and repairman of firearms such as 𝗨𝘀𝘀, M16, M4, M4A1, FN-Mag, grenade launcher M203, Negev, M2 Browning, Glock 19, Glock 17, and the SIG P228. And before someone asks whether or not I killed someone, no, I have not, but I did prevent a terrorist base invasion. Ayadi Azuni asks, what is the body of Aatrox? Like, did he take a body of someone else, just like 𝗏𝗏𝗏 taking over Kayn body, or is it his own body? So Aatrox basically just took over the body of this poor human being that tried to wield the weapon that he was sealed in. He didn't manage to fight Aatrox back like Kayn did with 𝗏𝗏𝗏, so it used to be a human, and Aatrox just took over that entire body, and now it is his body, and obviously with all the demonic enhancements, it looks the way that it looks nowadays, so yeah. Troy G asks, favorite novels, books, etc. So first of all, I'd have to start with Harry Potter, because Harry Potter is literally one of my all-time favorite series. Shout out to House Slytherin. And then if we look at like single books, I'd say Phantom of the Opera, Dracula, Frankenstein, everything that is Edgar Allan Poe, and pretty much any other gothic classic. Brainy asks, what's your favorite anime of all time? 𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗏 is my all-time favorite series, and not only because of the plot. Amiresh Rios asks, don't you think Yasuo and Riven should get married? Well, they did have a child at some point, so there's that. Thresh collects souls, Ahri collects life essence. Is it weird if I ship them? I really like Thresh and I really dislike Ahri. I don't like that. Not one bit. Since you dislike Lux and Ezreal's personality, do you think they deserve each other? Ezreal is now owned by Echo, so Lux can go ahead, take her magic staff, and go. Jaquin Redondo asks, do you have any tattoos? If you have one, tell us what it means to you, and if you don't, tell us what tattoo would you have. No, but I always wanted to have the Noxian crest or Diana's moon tattooed somewhere on my body. Unfortunately, I cannot do any of these because of my modeling. Only Darius asks, what are your favorite anime series and what do you think? How should they make LOL anime? on which part of the lore they needed to focus. So I've already said what my favorite animes are, but if we had to make an anime, I think that a great start would probably be in Ionia, Noxus, Freljord, or Shurima. Like one of the main biggest places. Me personally, I'd love to see Noxus. So yeah. 𝗀𝗵𝘳𝗽𝗪𝙫 asks, which one is the best, Daddy Swain or Dadrius? Why not both? 𝗷𝗫 asks, what made you like Swain so much? Daddy issues. No, just kidding. I've got mommy issues. I don't know, he's just such a major fucking badass. He was a veteran who figured out how to outsmart an entire nation, their leader and the Black Rose, and a fucking demon. Then he proceeded to set himself in power with one of the hottest commanders at his side. Like honestly, I don't want to do Swain, I want to be him. 𝗬𝗪𝙪𝙪 asks, what is your opinion about Shaco actual state in the lore and what changes will you make for improvement? Homeboy is called the Demon Jester and he's not even an actual demon. Like when writers themselves say that he needs a change, he needs a change. I also never played him, so I don't really think it's my place to decide how he should be changed, but a change is needed. 𝗬𝗪𝏆 asks, if you weren't a Noxian, where would you live? In your memories. Because I'm probably gonna be dead. Like whether it's dying from hypothermia in the Freljords, being eaten by a giant fish in Ionia for eating tuna cause balance, getting liver failure in Bilgewater, eaten by voidlings or giant sand beasts in Shurima. Like, yeah, no. I'ma stay in Noxus, thank you. Videos Premium asks, which is your favorite champion lore? I'd say that my all-time favorite would have to be Brand's lore, aka Keegan's. That entire story just had me pretty much in tears. Like I felt like I felt so empty when I finished reading that story. It is just absolutely like excruciating. I really wish Keegan would have never turned into Brand. But completely understand everything that he had to go through. If you guys have time, about an hour or so, to sit down and read, I'd say go ahead and read that story. It is one of the best ones. Jose Luis Gole Cruz asks, who's your favorite Freljordian? Lysandra. She's just the absolute fucking best. And Ornn. He's pretty much my fucking spirit animal.
Just leave everything to me. As usual. I'm used to this level of disappointment.
Pieces asks, are you into astrology? If so, name 12 characters for each sign. So Aries would be Darius, Taurus would be Talia, Gemini Nico, Cancer Amumu, Leo Garen, obviously, Virgo Karma, Libra Soraka, Scorpio Evelyn, Sagittarius Kled, Capricorn Swain, Aquarius would probably be Silas, and Pisces would be Sona. If you'd like me to make a full astrology table with all of the champions in there, let me know in the comment section below. Tarek Gems asks, do you like gems? Yes. Yusuf asks, what is your sexual preference? Two-dimensional characters. 𝗵𝘁𝗪𝗧 asks, why Noxus? Because they are pretty much the only place where I can actually feel I can be myself. Like the whole idea with Noxus is like, it doesn't matter where you come from, you can start from the bottom and build yourself up. And that's literally what I've done my entire life. So I feel like Noxus is pretty much the perfect place for me. Kareem asks, excluding Swain, which demon you want to be from League of Legends? Thresh. Do you play any first-person shooter games and how do you find streaming as a career? I can play Rainbow Six and like Doom, but I'm not really a huge fan of FPS because like low-key gives me PTSD. I wouldn't really call my streaming a career, at least not just yet. Streaming is more of a side project, like many other things that I'm doing at the moment. Hopefully in the future it would be able to become a career, but that is only when I'm gonna have like a specific set schedule where I can really put all my mind into it, because streaming by the end of the day is like a 24/7 type of job. And I can't really put my all into it until I know that I'm going to have a specific income. Like, I can't be just like sitting for 8 hours streaming every single day if I know that I won't be able to pay my bills by the end of the day. So it's fun, it's great. I'm really happy, like, to make others happy. Like, that's what I do as a streamer. Like, it's really important for people on my channel to have a good time, to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to just, like, you know, kind of like disconnect from like the daily lives that they have and feel comfortable in this like safe space that I've created for us weirdos. If you can travel, where would you go? I would probably go to Korea or Japan because I really want to eat in their 7-Elevens. Like, I'm dying to eat their food. Last question comes from Ryze. Are you a man?